Welcome to the Six-Figure Author Experiment, where we help you break through your first or next $100,000 goal. Parental discretion is advised. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hello, everyone. You want to do a high five? Yeah, we're going to do this. Boop. There we go.
Yes.
Across the country high five.
Yes. Welcome to the Lee and Russell Show, sponsored by Capitalist and the Seven-Figure Author course.
Wonderful. I love it. Yes, we are sponsoring our own show because if you can't sponsor your own show, who will? Who will, really?
Honestly, we're the best sponsors. Our stuff is really good. And I was listening to an entrepreneur lady who said, never stop talking about your books, courses, whatever. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
So literally
The opposite of what we do.
Yeah, we talk about everything else. So go to the Millionaire Author Mastermind, check out what we're posting in there. And also, today we're going to talk about an amazing article that Russell has posted and I have highlighted, and we figured we'd do a whole episode on it because it is how to survive, period.
Yeah.
How to survive.
And this idea really about bodywork. So, historically, bodywork has been called many other things. So I'm just going to tell you all of them that I have found. So decades ago, there's a negative connotation around psychosomatic, but the mind-body connection goes all the way back decades and decades and decades. People just would then take it and say, oh, you're just making it up. But that psychosomatic connection became the mind-body connection that Nicole Sachs talks about in Mind Your Body. And she learned about TMS, and she started doing this through work in TMS, which is, and then there's also neuroplastic symptoms, and all of that stuff is about the connection between your mind and symptoms that appear in your body.
And I'll preface this by saying, started writing, had a baby a year later, had another baby 2 years after that, and then hit a wall, even though my income was climbing. And now looking back, I realize I was dragging my body behind me like a tin can behind a just married wedding car.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to check in and really see, I just needed to move, really. Because if someone comes to me and says, I have writer's block, or I've reached an income block even, I ask, are you in pain?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ignoring your body, and therefore your body is shutting down and thinking, we're at war, and I have to turn off digestion, turn off good sleep habits, turn off all my creativity, all my energy, passion, sexuality, all of that, because we're in chronic pain, we're getting autoimmune diseases, or we're just getting sick. And I can't anymore. And I think so often in hustle culture, business and success financially means that your body is broken, or you're like a gym bro.
Yeah. Well, it's this. Gabor Mate has this great book called When the Body Says No, which, if you have gotten all the way through When the Body Keeps the Score and are very depressed, that gives you a really good base of information to understand Gabor Mate's book, which is all about how your body will send you stronger and stronger signals to stop until you listen.
And Renee talks about this. She's like, your body will whisper, and then pain and inflammation and chronic illness is your body shouting and saying, please, please listen to me. And so I wanted to finish my preface. I was in pain. That was where my writer's block was coming from. That's where my income plateaus. and income decline came from, is because I was burned out and I couldn't handle the hustle anymore.
Mhm.
And in this podcast, we love talking about money, but what's the point of the money if you're in pain and you're sick and you're, you know, stressed out all the time?
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, I have hit a wall in my business, in my life, in my income, and I can't even write or do the thing I love. I can't even create, which used to be a source of so much joy and pleasure. And then I combined it with capitalism, and then it all went wrong. Well, you're in the right place, because we're going to break this down and we're going to talk about some solutions, because Russell's ahead of the curve on this. Like, you had to pay attention.
Yeah. I mean, I think people with chronic illness tend to be ahead of this thing, but the thing is, because chronic illness takes you back, most of them don't have the level of success or deal with the level of success that I have and the people that I know. And so I was very used to doing things like somatic tracking, which is checking in with your body a bunch of times a day, and but um, what I would hear, what I heard over and over again, and I just had a coaching call yesterday where I said this, where like we were talking about how they've done so much mindset work. And
Mhm.
like no matter how much mindset work that they do, they just can't settle. They can't be comfortable. And so I started thinking about this a lot. And I've done, especially with once you hit a certain income threshold, like, I don't want to say all your problems are solved, but like a lot of your problems, especially when you've been at that threshold for a long time, are not survival problems.
Yeah.
They're not belonging problems. Like, they are problems that are like, you should be able to say, I am safe. Or like, I have enough money. Like, how many years do you have to make $1 million or $500,000 before you're like, okay, I no longer have to hustle if I don't want to? But we live in a world where like most successful people that I coach, like they say the same thing, which is, no matter how much work I do on my mindset, no matter how much money I make, I never feel like it's enough. I never feel like I can rest.
Hmm.
And that comes from body work. Like, that comes from
Yeah.
like your body
Yeah.
has been, as you said, dragged along your whole life, and it's gone through all of the trauma that you have. But we think that our mind and our body are the same. And while there's a huge connection, if you read on individual family systems, Richard Schwartz, as no bad parts, like,
Hmm.
there's a body of research that talks about how your mind, yourself, and the parts of you that protect you are different. And
Hmm.
so what he says is, it because you can perform an action and regret it, a part of you can regret it. It means that that part of you is not is like, there's something else going on. There's like these parts that are put up, a policeman, firefighter, triage doctor, that are protecting you and protecting your actual self,
Yes.
which exists outside. So if like it exists outside your mind, and then it definitely exists outside your body, right?
Yes. And then it works through the body. So I was this many years old when I learned about this sort of work. And I took a class by Sarah Baldwin, and her podcast, You Make Sense, is excellent. But she keeps talking about how you're going about your day as an adult and you're doing well in your business and you're going to hire someone. And suddenly, this old protective part of you that learned a lesson when you were 6 years old that said, oh, you're going to fuck it up, and somehow internalized, I don't know. I realize I'm saying these mean affirmations to myself all the time. And it's not me, it's a part of me. It's like this
Right.
old mechanism. It's like a reflex that says,
Yeah.
you're a piece of shit. And I'm like,
Yes.
what the heck, dude? I didn't realize my self-talk was that bad. But it really was just so buried beneath um all the toxic positivity, all the mindset work that I have done. And it was this deep mechanism that goes, oh, you're about to hire someone? Well, you're gonna fuck it up, and that's because you're a piece of shit. There you go. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the actual heck, dude? No wonder I'm so stressed. I go to make myself coffee and I spill a little, and then I tell myself I'm a terrible person. Like, that is what's going on. And
Yeah.
it was so deeply subconscious that I didn't even hear it. I thought I was saying nice things to myself a lot. I was like, affirmations are fine. I don't know if they really work. Guess what? I was affirming to myself that I was a terrible person all the time because I spilled my coffee.
Yeah.
And I had to interrupt that. But the way to interrupt it was through somatic bodywork that literally tells my nerve endings that they're safe. It was so much deeper than like, look in the mirror and say nice things to yourself. That helps. That is very huge and helpful. But it was also like, go get massage so that your shoulders relax a little. And that cues to your body that you're not at war, and we're not going to say mean things to ourselves to make us power through the next task.
Yeah, so what I tell people, and there's a great book called The Way Out if you want to know about somatic tracking and like actually do a process of somatic tracking, but it's the idea that you're checking into yourself and saying you're safe, like you're not, you're okay. Like it's not like, oh, that's interesting. I feel this way. I wonder why I feel that way. Like it seems so obvious when you do it, but
Yeah.
we're I'll give you an example before I talk about the next part of this, but I'm doing this frictionless growth challenge. And the
Mhm.
first day, what the question I asked was, tell me a time where growth felt easeful.
I
That
love that
was
question.
the only question that I asked. And like half the people were like, my problem is this, my challenge is this, the thing that, and so I spent a lot of that first day being like, that's interesting. I asked you a positive question and you put 10 negative words in this response to me and didn't even ask and didn't even answer the question. But so like, I find it interesting that you went negative immediately. Like, do
Yep.
you have any thoughts on that?
Yep. And okay, I think the issue, Russell, is that we're smart. Becca Syme said this. She's like, you're a really brilliant, logical person with, who can very eloquent. And so your fear sounds logical. Your fear
Right,
and loathing sounds erudite.
right,
It's just it's buried so deeply, or I just didn't hear it. I was
right,
like, I'm fine, I'm good. I'm just sitting staring at my computer, freaking out, and I don't know why. Like everything should be fine. I reached all my goals, and now I am trying to figure out how to get myself to take a break so that my hips get, some yoga so they're not so stiff.
hmm
And yeah, turns out I really just had to work it out of my body. And the class does, the Sarah Baldwin class did somatic check-ins. Like
right,
that was the class. You like set alarms, and then throughout your day, the alarms go off, a very gentle alarm ideally, and you stop and you look out the window and you name 5 things. And then you realize how long you've been running and how much pain you're in and how stressed out you are because you're coming out of the stress. And so it all hits you. And then I would cry. And I'd be like, oh my God, what the actual heck is going on? But it was okay because then it was a release
right,
and it slowly got better. And all the pain I was like holding on to, all the emotion turns into stress and pain in my body. And that started to release. And then the positive effects started multiplying because it was like, oh, the office isn't a place of stress anymore. My office is a place of healing, of fun, of
mhm,
creativity. It's not a place where I beat myself up anymore. Well, those thoughts still come up, But
Right.
now I'm able to go, well, that's so interesting. Why would I say that to myself? Actually, I don't even need to know why. I'm going to go roll on my yoga mat and dance around
Sure.
and
Yeah, I
pretend that,
mean,
yeah.
because what so often we do when we're like, oh, I'm so stupid for like thinking this, and or like there's no negativity. Like it is just a thing that happened,
Mhm.
and so that's why that's so interesting. I wonder why I feel that way. It's such a great question because it's curiosity. It's not negative self-talk. And like we can examine things without it being negative or positive. And like that's one of the great things about neutral thinking that I talk about in the capitalism book. But people say you can't be happy if you can and if like you most of the things that you want to think are neutral. And my response to that is I don't think you understand happiness. Like happiness
I
is the
think that
ability to sit at peace
I think that
and
is
be
happy.
okay with that.
I think happiness is I walk into my office and it's a beautiful day outside and I'm like, wow, so pretty. Look at that blue sky. Look at all the birds in that tree.
Hmm.
And then I sit down in front of my computer and I pull up my work in progress, my whip. And I look at my whip and I'm like, oh, look at this. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, let's move that sentence. Oh, let's do that. And guess what? That's called editing. And then
Yeah.
and then I started adding new words and that's called writing. And I didn't overthink it and I didn't say mean things to myself to get me to
Right.
do it. I just did it. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I need a break. And I get up and I move around. I drink water. I dance.
And you
I
don't beat
dance
yourself up over it.
and I don't beat myself up over it. And I go outside. And then the day star cues my melatonin. So then all my hormones are now in line because I allowed
Mhm.
myself to get up and go outside, which is an even deeper level of body work that I can't even control. These are involuntary responses.
Yeah.
These are responses that when I move a box in my office and there's a black widow spider underneath and I jump back 8 feet before I even might realize that it's a black widow spider, my 500 million year old mechanisms keep me alive.
Yeah.
That's what I needed to relax and heal. And it
Yes.
doesn't understand English. If I say, okay, Lee, calm down, my 500 million year old part does not understand language, but it understands when I roll around on my yoga mat. It's like,
Well,
oh, we're not running away from a spider right now.
yeah.
We're chill.
Well,
We're good.
this is the most important thing I think when it comes to like body work and somatic tracking. It's okay, I'm just going to say this thing. I've said it before. People generally have a viscerally negative reaction, but all anxiety is a lie.
I love
Not
it.
that that you are not feeling that thing,
Right.
but all anxiety is about you tripping. So you have two systems in your body, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system.
Right.
The sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight, and the parasympathetic is rest and digest. And your every time you have anxiety or feel boredom, by the way, also you are tripping your sympathetic nervous system because you're not able to be at rest. Like boredom is the also I learned someone said anxiety and boredom are two sides of the same coin
Huh. I
because
didn't think
like
of it that way.
they both take you away from your ability to just be in the moment and
I agree.
exist. And it's your saying, I'm bored. Like, what should I do? What should I do? What should like I gotta do something. I gotta be active. I gotta be an active participant in this. And so every time you trip there's only one legitimate reason to trip your sympathetic nervous system. And it is the thing that you just said. If you are in immediate physical
Hmm.
danger,
Yes.
all three of those things have to be true. You have to be in immediate, which means like a black widow spider is within like 5 feet of you. Shit, I need to go back. I need to
Yes.
escape there.
Yes.
Physical, It cannot be mental or emotional. It has to be like somebody's charging at you with a gun, with their fist raised. Like it
Yes.
must be immediate, physical, and you must actually be in danger. And those three conditions, then your body tripping the sympathetic nervous system is doing its job. However,
Hmm.
it should only, like, it is only okay until you are out of immediate physical danger, which should take you less than 5 minutes.
It should turn right off. And
Right.
in every other animal, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It would turn off. It
Right.
would be like we're running from the black widow spider or a bear or whatever. Okay, now we're safe and we shake it off
Right.
and then we go back to grazing on the grass if we're a deer or whatever.
Right.
And
Well, and
it
like
should
that,
turn off. Yes.
yes. And like we watched this happen because we went on safari a few years ago. We just watched like a herd of zebra chilling, watching a lion like creep up. And then the lion pounced and they were like running around, like avoiding it for like 3 minutes. And then the lion got tired and walked away. And then they just went back to chilling. We
Yes.
watched animals like as hyenas were walking through like around them, and like you do not want to mess with the hyena. Like they will eat anything and kill anything and have like no remorse about it. Most predators will eat only kill the things that they're going to eat like then, and then they're like most of them. Hyenas will just like kill anything, even if whenever it comes, whenever the opportunity arises. They are psychopaths.
Jeez. Cool.
But animals were just like watching them chill out and like they were hanging out together and like nobody was running away. They were all just being like, well, I'm not in. This is potential future danger, but this is not immediate physical danger. And I know I did, it's usually emotional, physical, and then you don't have to like the danger's not its own category, but like you can have emotion, you can have immediate physical joy, and you could still be scared of it. You could still have anxiety over being like the about, so you must, all three of these things must be true. Otherwise, at every other instance, your anxiety is lying to you. And because anxiety is literally only tripped when you are not in immediate physical danger, that's where the all anxiety is a lie comes from. Because
I love
you,
it. I think it's true. Yeah. Because you're either supposed to be the turbo system turns on, you have amazing amounts of strength to run away or to bite.
Mhm.
We're not meant to lie awake at night and then grind our teeth when we are sleeping.
Right. Oh, but like it's so like fight or flight is the thing that we always talk about. And then there's freeze, which is what deers do. And then there's fuck, is what most people say. But like there's a great book called Fawn,
On,
which
yeah.
is about fawning, which is how you are anxious, so you people please constantly.
Yep.
And that doesn't present like the, and there's a bunch of other ones, but like those are like the big freeze fawn. There's like a fifth one. I forget what the fifth one is at the moment, but we think it's like, oh, well, I'm not running away and I'm not fighting and I'm not freezing. So like I must not be in anxiety. But like if you were like people pleasing is one of the biggest
Yeah.
fawn techniques.
Yes. And it comes from scanning your environment and going, okay, who can I make happy so that I feel good about myself versus how do I feel? Oh, I'm hungry. Okay, let me eat. Okay, now I feel better and I can just feel good about myself.
Right.
Or I don't want to go to the Christmas party, so I'm going to tell them no. And it doesn't matter what they think about it because it has nothing to do with them. My feelings are mine to control and to nourish and safeguard. And again, I was this many years old learning this stuff, and it came about as a necessity because I believe I'm put on earth to grow and expand. And I'm sitting here like, what do I do? Because I've hit all these income goals and I should be happy and I should be chill. I should be in my office writing wacky stories, whatever I can possibly think up, and then shaking my tail feathers on TikTok about them
Yeah.
and marketing them, never shut up about them. And I'll find my audience and thank God for the internet. I can do this for a living. Instead, I was just stressed out and I would go to yoga and be like, well, I've dumped some of the stress out. Nope. I was putting it right back into my body as soon as I stepped into my office or my messy house. And it really came from, I realized I had to stop and like make my body feel better and then start to think like, oh, when you were 6 years old, you learned if you do all your homework, the teacher praises you. And you said, well, mom and dad are stressed. They're too tired to give me any attention, but my teacher will give me attention all day long if I'm just a good little girl.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I don't I don't want to put myself in that box anymore because I want to be wild, free, creative, delusional, a little nutty,
Yeah.
and create art out of that. And I
Right.
can't access that if I'm jumping back from a black widow spider, which isn't even a black widow spider. It's my teacher in kindergarten.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this all kind of goes to pain reprocessing therapy, which is like one of the bigger. So if you know, there's an app called Curable. A lot of it's in the chronic illness community, but brain retraining is another one. Like the Curable app, we talked about the way out, but like this is all about much of it is in journal speak, which is Nicole Sachs' big thing in Mind Your Body that I'm reading now, these things that are about like surfacing these things and letting them learning to understand where they are in your bodies. So anyone who does qigong or does meditation probably is like knows about chakras. Qigong is
Mhm.
a little bit different than like the chakras are a little bit different, but like it's the idea that energy pools in your body places and it can get blocked.
Yeah.
And like, so we've been do this is before even psychosomatic, which was like, this is just like back thousands of years ago, they figured out that like, if your body is blocked, you need to unblock it so the energy can flow in and out of you. And when you think about it in that manner, it's like, well, another great one is resonant breathing. Resonant breathing is the idea of the ideal cadence of breath is 5.5 breaths a minute. And that's when your body slows down and like you get the and when they studied chanting across all of these different disciplines of religion all around the world and found that like most chanting happens at 5.5 beats like breaths a minute. The and at least you need to have double the in breath or the of the double the length of the in breath as the out breath. So I like 4-7-8 breathing,
Yeah.
which is 4 in, hold for 7, out for 8. A lot of people like box breathing, but that is not resonant breathing because that is 4 hold in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4.
It's
So
equal.
like yes,
Yeah.
so I like box breathing fine, but it actually isn't helpful in this way. And if you are a huge fan of box breathing and you're like, I don't understand why I'm not getting any body work benefits from it, it's probably because you need to double your out breath. So that's why I like 4-7-8 breathing or 3-9 breathing. Or there's a whole bunch of breath
Yeah.
work is wild. Like there's a whole book called Breathe, which I was like, this is dumb. I know how to breathe. And I figured I was like, Karen, I thought I knew how to breathe. I
I
don't
was
know how
this
to
many
breathe.
I was this many years old when I learned how to breathe
Hmm.
properly. No, I feel like I'm back in kindergarten. It's like Go to the bathroom when you need to, eat, drink water, go outside, run around. If you're happy and you want to laugh, laugh. If you're sad and you need to cry, cry, let it out. And I'm in like remedial kindergarten, but it's great because I feel a lot better. I've been more creative than ever. My income ups and downs don't really mean anything. Like, yes, I'm aware, but it's like, okay, well, I'll pull this lever and I'll make more money. Or I'm going to take a break and just, kind of invent and wander and then see what I do want to lock into market in the new year. And these are all coming from a place of peace. These are really high level decisions that aren't coming from worry or stress, which shuts down your creative brain, by the way.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
yeah,
this is so important that like, and when you combine it with something like, what is the thing my wife did about when she did individualized nutrition?
the nutrition app.
Zoe is like in gut health, and all of these things are like we we tr as a community, as an author community, we really love going as a pack. Like we really love not going on our like people will move and then they'll move all together when they're like, I know the exact right thing. Like Lee and 20 other people did it this way and it works. So everyone's like, this is the way I'm gonna do it. But the the tough thing once you get to a certain level of healing is like this stuff is individualized. Like my wife cannot really eat fruit unless she eats nuts beforehand or like her individual, whereas like it's much easier for me to eat like fruit. I don't get the sugar spike.
Yeah,
And
the blood sugar spike, which cues cortisol, and perimenopausal women or assigned female at birth, we tend to be cortisol high.
Mhm.
Waking up our cortisol is high. That's stress, which shuts down your cerebral cortex, which is your creativity. So you're trying to be
Right.
creative. And marketing is creativity. The more you embrace the nuttiness of marketing, I think, and the more
Yeah.
fun you have, I think the better you are at it. You're like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't
It's
have to
just,
make sense. I'm just gonna shake my tail feathers on TikTok.
yeah.
But okay, I do love, and I wanted to say this earlier. I love that there's so many different modalities. Someone could be listening to this and go, well, I cannot get behind the chakras or whatever. But I do like, you know, polyvagal nervous system talk, whatever.
Right.
And you're like, I want to go more sciencey with it. And you're like, great. But remember, as a writer, you're comfortable with metaphor. So if you do want to dip into the woo-woo is really fun
Yeah.
because it's all metaphor. And actually that speaks to the deepest parts of your mind. Image and metaphor and emotion gets deeper than the logic, remember?
Yeah, absolutely. But like there are some, I think Heather Hildenbrand's great at like bringing like the science part of this into the woo.
Yeah.
And that there's all sorts of like there is science behind yoga. It just is. Like there's like people wouldn't be have done it for 2000 years if there wasn't like a positive benefit from it. And like you should stretch. I don't care how you stretch, but like you could do the McGill Big Three, you could do yoga, you could just, I mean, I don't know, throw your kid up in the air 30 times. I don't know, but like there's pretty good research that like stretching, even if you like has positive health benefits.
Yeah,
That
you can
like,
also follow religious traditions, which I'm realizing were designed to regulate
yeah,
our nervous system as a society. It's like the kneeling, the bowing, the prayer, the
right.
meditation, laying on of hands. And I'm mostly familiar with the Christian tradition, but like, laying out your prayer mat and bowing three times
Yes.
a day. Like that's moving your body
Yes.
and that's chanting in a community, feeling safe in a community and safe in the deepest level, which is your nerves relax, which you can only really get from deep breathing, singing, rolling around meowing
That's
like a cat.
chanting.
Yeah,
That's like
chanting.
chanting, meowing like a cat, like yoga, like all of these things. Like they just keep coming back. Give you an example about meditation because I thought I hated meditation and was bad at it. But like, and I was like, I don't like meditation. But what I would do is when I will not let my body get up before 5. If it gets up at 2, it just lays in bed for 3 hours.
Mm.
I breathe and I try to rest myself. And one day my wife's like, what do you think meditation is? And I was like, oh, I guess you're right. Like I'm great at meditation, but often I just don't want to do it. Or like I just want to scroll Facebook or whatever. And so like I will just take my phone, lay in bed, do the resonant breathing, sit in the position and like scroll Facebook. And like, is that as good? It's not as good. Like it is not as much benefit as not doing that and like being in a room, but like I also do it. And one of the biggest things that you want to train your body to do is generalize and do the breathing all the time. Like just act like this, not have to be in a dark room in meditation. Like that is one aspect of it. But even if you do what people recommend, which is 2 20-minute meditations a day, that's only less than 1/24th of your day. Like you have, and like, I don't know if you know this, Lee, but you breathe all the time. And you
Yeah.
want your body, so you want your body as much as possible to breathe naturally. And
Ideally we breathe. Do you know that
right.
I figured out that I wasn't breathing? I will hold my breath
Yeah.
when I'm muscling through a project. Like I'm washing the dishes at night after dinner, like wind down time, got
Right.
quiet music playing, have a cup of tea waiting for me, and I'm holding my breath.
Right.
And I realized that I was like, well, that's not good for the stress response. So
Right.
I like this. Let's breathe all the time.
Yeah, we should breathe all the time and we should try to do it like I think that book Breath, I think the book Breathe, forget if it's Breath or Breathe, whichever one it is. So is um talks about how you should walk and like if you can think about it, just like while you're walking, do like 3-9 breathing is a good one for walking because or like 4, like you want it like 2.5. I've found that it's hard for me to do it when I'm walking because I forget. But like even if you remember it for 2 minutes, like that's 2 minutes better. And we in 2026 should just like stop trying to do stuff perfectly because taking imperfect action is better than taking no action or waiting until it's better. You know what? Like if you were holding your child and nursing and you're like, oh yeah, I shouldn't breathe. Just that's great. Like do it then. Like I don't know, like do it whenever you possibly can because the better you can get it, the more often you can get breathing right and get do your breath work and do all of this stuff like do somatic tracking like I think they tell you to do it like at least 10 times a day like there's a whole process for it but like you know what if you do it one time a day that's better if all you do is you're like that's interesting like even if after you when you get angry eventually you're going to come down and say I was dumb why did I do that like, or you'll be like, okay, that was a good appropriate reaction, maybe. I don't know. I don't think most people think that when they get really angry, like that's an appropriate. It's almost never an appropriate reaction, but I'm an 8, so that's where my brain like lives in lashing out, and I know that. And do you know the Gottmans? The Gottmans are these two great family therapists, and they have a book called Fight Right. And the idea is that if you don't catch yourself before you get into an anger state, there's nothing you can do to stop yourself. So just let it play out. Try to like remove yourself from the situation, do meditation, and then just like cut yourself some slack because it's
Yeah.
all about that once. Can you increase the distance between when you get the trigger and when you release the anger or when you release the emotion? And if you can just increase that a little bit, you stop having those emotions so much. And that's good to not have like these like triggers. Like I think they said like the trigger and the reaction, like there's only like 1 second that you can stop it, or a very short amount of time. Maybe it's like 3 seconds. And if you don't catch yourself in this time, like then you're going to get triggered. It doesn't matter how much work I do. I always get angry easy. I just do. I know how to like redirect it or be like, ugh. But and now I can say, oh my God, this is so dumb. I hate this. Or like, I can't believe that like no matter how advanced I get, if I don't catch myself before the trigger, before the reaction to the trigger, nothing will stop it until it goes through its cycle. But we always what happens is we beat ourselves up for being in the cycle and we stop ourselves from recovering from the cycle. There's another book that's great from Emily Nagasaki and I think it's her sister about resetting the stress cycle. It's called Burnout. Um, Reset the stress cycle, and it's all about closing the loop. And like, just let yourself close the loop. Like, if you get angry, like the more you fight it, not that you should like let it out of places, but like the more you can, the more you're like, I'm not angry. Like, you're just extending the cycle.
Yeah, just say, wow, I'm angry.
Yeah, that's
And
dumb.
I try to remove like you said, I try to remove myself so that my loved ones aren't in the blast area.
Right.
And again, I use that whole noticing, oh wow, I'm beating myself up right now. I'm stressed. I'm spiraling. I'm in freeze state.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So interesting.
And then just change the subject. Go outside. Just go outside. If you can possibly get outside and breathe some fresh air, just do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is that if you read Jill Bolte Taylor, she has a great book that I just read that I cannot remember the name of, but she's very famous for her idea of that 90-second emotion. Emotions flood you and they are over in 90 seconds. An emotion does not last longer than that. And all of the stuff after that is us ruminating on it and us the second arrowing ourselves.
Probably judging ourselves for the emotion rather than being like, hey, I'm a human and I
Yes.
get angry and I get sad. And then I feel it for 90 seconds. And then it is over and I'm on to the next.
Right.
And I don't
Well,
need to judge it.
not only that, but like there's like a cycle of emotions because it's like, okay, you get angry. Then you get guilty for being angry. Then you beat yourself up for being angry. And like, so like you're going through this whole cycle instead of just being like, I am angry. I know I am angry. I'm just going to sit in silence and not be angry. Or like I'm going to breathe or do resonant breathing or like check in with myself or go for a walk. And eventually, you know what happens? That anger just ticks off. And I'm like, this is so dumb. And then I'll be like, can't believe I did that. What I'll say is like, I can't believe I like sent that email while I was angry. I should have sent it later because the minute that the anger subsides, I'm like,
Huh.
well, that was dumb.
What?
That was like, but like, I don't ascribe this the book that we talked about that we ended up not doing an episode on. The one it was like how to get over everything, yes, everything.
I couldn't even get into it. I want to
Yeah,
message you and say, I started it and my brain wouldn't focus on it. So
there's
tell me all about it right now.
there's one the thing that it was in the intro, but like there's the only thing that stuck with me was this idea of like radical self-acceptance, radical other acceptance, and radical life acceptance.
Hmm.
It is the idea that an event can be good or bad. A thing can be good or bad. No, no, sorry. A thing can't be good or bad. Like this water bottle is just a water bottle. It's not good or bad. If it spills, that event is bad. If I drink it and it's delicious, that event is good. But the water bottle doesn't change. And in the same way, like we might have a bad like experience with somebody. We might have a bad experience in life. We may be going through a real rotten time, but we probably should stop being ruled by the worst 5 minutes of our day and be ruled by the fact that, and this is something my wife said, and I love it so much. She said, most things work out for most people most of the time. Because I was complaining, not complaining, but my wife loves like leaving places exactly at like getting places exactly on time, and like things always work out for her. And so I was like, I'm just like, well, things, of course we got here on time. Like things always work out for you. And she's like, dude, things work out for you too. Like most things work out for everyone almost all the time. Like, and my evidence is like, you are here right now in this
Yeah.
moment. And like, when people come into Happiness or the Frictionless Growth Challenge and they're like, I've never had success. That's impossible. You're literally here right now. You're like in this challenge. So like there may be a human who has never had success, but it is not you.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a lot of stuff to dump on in like one dump, but like that's a whole bunch of things.
I love it. And we'll link your article because it lays out all these resources with the links.
Yes, and
Because
great, and a whole syllabus, and it's at theauthorstack.com/bodywork.
yeah, that bodywork article I have shared a bunch because it's all in one place and it comes from the perspective of, hey, you're stuck, you have chronic illness, you're tired, you're burnt out. It's okay. We've been there. We'll probably be there again. And this is the way out. And it's not perfect. But I told Mallory Cooper I was going to quote her. She was quoting the Getting Things Done manifesto or something. And she said, don't chase perfectionism. It's boring.
Yeah, I love it.
Which I like because in this new era, I am choosing to be wild and free.
Yeah,
And Alan Watts says, you're perfect like a tree, perfect like a flame. I've never looked at a tree and judged it. I've never been like, well, that's such an ugly tree. Because even the ugliest trees are so beautiful.
yeah. Well,
And same with the flame. So I'm trying to
yeah.
not judge myself the same way. Be like, you're perfect like a tree.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like if you're burned out, like whatever the stage you are coming at, what we talk about in Happiness is like you come in a state. If you go to a hospital with a bullet wound, it doesn't matter if you did it yourself or like someone else did it or like it was done 20 miles away or 10 miles away. What matters is like they closed the wound.
Mm.
And once you, so like close the wound, it doesn't like we are not doing ourselves any favors by saying, "Oh, I can't believe I'm burned out." Like I can't believe that like I got tricked by this thing. Like I can't believe like that doesn't help you. And like it doesn't matter. What matters is you got into this state, which is where like the real thing of like neutral thinking I think like really like holds its own because like you it like if you did the number one bestseller or your book is the worst launch ever, like that doesn't matter. What matters is that thing happened. And like we can fix those things only if we say, I accept that
Mhm.
I am burned out. I accept that I did a bunch of things, even I accept that I have to close these 10 loops before I can start healing. Because a lot of people, when they start their healing journey, are like, I can't stop. I got so many things in the air. And it's like, no, you can't stop them now. But like Do you know all those plates that spin? The like those plates stop spinning because the guy goes home. Like the magic trick is over. Like the circus closes. So like those plates that are spinning in the air, the one that the famous metaphor is based on, they're not spinning forever. There is an end to them, and you can end all of these things. You might say, "Oh my God, I have to do this for 6 more months." Well, 6 more months is like 140th of your life. And like, as long as you go into it saying, I'm going to fix these things and then never get in these situations again, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I find that the thinking that I had that got me into the problem isn't going to get me out of it.
Right.
So I need to change my state. The sooner I accept that I'm burnt out or that things are going wrong, it's like, well, that exists. The faster I can get on to healing, fixing
Right.
it.
Right.
And I did find all those spinning plates were not necessary to my survival. In fact, they were impeding my health.
Right.
So it would be better to let the plates drop and shatter
Yeah.
than keep them and exhaust my arms for another 6 months because I need all that energy to get a good night's sleep, to love my family. And guess what? It only takes like 3 seconds in the shower to get an amazing idea for marketing, your next book, your next launch, a new collaboration with somebody, a new business. Inspiration takes no time.
Yes.
The issue is you filled your time with busy work. Why? Because you're afraid. You're
Right.
actually afraid, and that fear shut down your mind, and now your mind is clouded and it cannot think of a way out. You just see the problem. And what you actually need to do is go the fuck outside. You need to lie down. You need to rest. You know that urge you get to go listen to a podcast and take a walk, to go to the coffee shop? Literally, that's you getting outside. That's you changing your state. It would be better for you to go wander around your neighborhood and think happy thoughts than sit in front of your computer and hate on yourself and your work in progress. I would rather you be happy because when you're happy, you think of good dialogue for your characters.
Right.
And you get 17 hours of work done in 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm realizing. It's like, oh, you're waking up and you're choosing to be miserable. And you're saying that you can't stop being miserable. And you're just living in this rut. And until you're in pain enough to stop. There was once a farmer and this dog was sitting at his feet yowling, and a man came by and goes, "What's wrong with your dog?" He goes, "Oh, he sat on a nail." And the guy goes, "Oh my gosh, help the dog." And the farmer goes, "Nope, when he's in enough pain, he'll get up."
Yeah. Well, I also think, let's say you wake up and you are miserable. Like, continuing to ruminate on that misery is not helpful for you. Like, there are like, how to get out of being miserable is a knowable problem. Like, you can get out of misery. It might take you a day, a week, a month, a year to get out of that misery, but like, there are steps you can take, but you can't take those steps until you accept that you are miserable and that you want to get out of the misery. So to wrap this up, we talked about happiness at the beginning. So like we talk about the happy compass in Happiness, which is there's 4 major blocks that you're going to find in your business: heart, project challenges, audience challenges, prioritization challenges, and income challenges. And when we design our quarter, which is we get one priority. So my rule is you can do all of the things that are currently working, not like giving positive growth. You can do all of those and one other thing. Like, I don't want you to necessarily cut things that are working because you have to eat. But every quarter you should cut all of the things that are not working, or wind them down at least. All of the series that aren't working, all of the marketing that's not working. And part of working is you are enjoying it. Like, I asked people to do a modified Eisenhower matrix that you can find at frictionlessgrowth.com, like to find the things that they love and need, things they love and don't need, things they hate and need, and things they hate and don't need. And I'm like, well, this box is like 80% of the things because we think that because of our Puritan work ethic, we think that the only things that are worth anything are things that drive us crazy. So like you just cut these things.
Yeah.
These things you can automate or delegate away. Like the things that you love and need are in your zone of genius, and the things you love and don't need are either hobbies, which are great. Hobbies are great. You should have a bunch of hobbies, or things that you need to be like, how can I incorporate them into my business? But like, there are humans who can help you do the things you need and don't hate, or you could just maybe you find a way to automate those away. But if you are truly great companies, the books Good to Great, the scaling science of scaling book, all of these books pretty consistently say the same thing. If you want to scale, you need to do less things better.
Yeah. Yep. Pick one thing and scale it to the moon.
And if your body is not, yeah, exactly. And if your body does not feel safe because you aren't doing these somatic things, you're not going to be able to stay in that moment of like, well,
Yeah.
there's only 4 hours of stuff that I do a week. If you only have 4 hours of stuff that are driving you forward, you should only do 4 hours of stuff. And like, if you have 20 hours, great. But like, the reason why I stay so under leveraged is so that when Lee and I want a podcast or like whatever the thing is, I can be like, yeah, whatever, sure. I went to my chiropractor a couple days ago and they were like, what are you going to do for the rest of the day? And I was like, this is the thing. This was my thing for the day. I don't know. Like something could come up and be chaos, but like, and that would be great. And I have the time and space and energy for it. I have time to do those sprints.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I told the people as my last challenge to people is we talked about time blocking, right? I want you to do reverse time blocking, which is how many hours are you devoting to your business a week? Ideally, 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours. It can't be more than 40 hours. No one ideally wants to work more than 40 hours a week. If you're like, I do, no, you don't. You read the Perfectionist Guide to Losing Control. Like you want to be busy for that amount of time, but there's so many experiences you could have that are not work related, hobby related, love related. But so how many hours, 40 or less hours you want to work, how you want to split them up. And then how we do time blocking is green time, which is the time you make money, is sacrosanct. The switch to that is everything that's normally red time is your green time. You physically cannot do more than that because it will take away from your family, your friends, or the other stuff that is actually the important stuff that we do. So if you say, I want to work 40 hours a week and I want to have 10 hours for this, 20 hours for this, and 10 hours for this, awesome. Your business revolves around your life, not the other way around. And that's the 2026 energy that I want you to bring.
I love it.
Yeah, any final thoughts? Any final things you want to talk about?
I think that what I said before with the dog on the nail,
yeah,
that sounded a little like pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And I don't really want to send that message across. I do want people to reach for relief.
Yes.
So if any of these resources resonate with you when you go to Russell's article, like go for it. If going outside and wandering around listening to this podcast is helpful, like go for it. And there's so many free resources that I really want people to realize that they deserve help and they also deserve to feel great. Like you actually deserve that. You're actually on this planet to choose love over fear and to love yourself first.
Right.
And from that, all love can flow. And whatever got you away from that, I hope that you're able to put it in that fourth quadrant in the Eisenhower matrix and cut it out. But if you have trouble doing that and you're a little stuck, please reach for relief and see if there's a teacher that you resonate with, because we're not meant to regulate our nervous systems alone. That is what religion actually figured out really fast. So if it's a group exercise class in the park or a free podcast, I hope that you get the help and support that you need, because self-help is a lie also. Yeah. Anxiety is a lie. Self-help is a lie. We help each other. So
yeah. I guess my final thought would be, people are always complaining that the younger generations have it too easy. And that is the point. Like, the point of all of this is that every generation has it easier, and that everything should get easier over time. Like, if you actually sat down, and I do sometimes be like, but isn't that, why did you work for 40 years? So like my kid could like say no, so that I could say no. Like, all of this stuff is backwards. Like, we should be loving the fact that Gen Alpha is able to like have 85 different ways to like say their gender, and like they can express themselves. Like, that is the fucking point of all of this. All of society was made so that we could have all of these people. Like, you could have your hair whatever color you want, that like you could go and find all of these things. Like, if you brought anyone back from 5 generations ago, or like, hey, you know all that bullshit you went through? Well, like, your like great grandkid like just got a tattoo of a snake with his like lunch money, and you're like, fucking, like, there's that much stuff, like I could just do that. Like, that's amazing. Like, all of this shit, all of this softness is the fucking point of all of this.
Agree. And we are richer than the pharaohs. It's time we start living like it. And living like it is enjoying your time, enjoying your life, and having a regulated nervous system when you're doing anything except for jumping back from a spider, which is an automatic mechanism. You don't even have to think about that. So other than that, you're choosing joy, you're choosing love, and you're choosing comfort and fun and fresh air and good life experiences. I absolutely agree. And I have such a hope for the world, I don't know, becoming enlightened or whatever. It's like, yes, I want these kids talking about mental health. Yes, I want them talking about therapy. The most important thing that I can teach my 2 kids is to regulate their nervous system. Because if they're regulated, if they know when they're dysregulated how to pendulate back into regulation, they can be artists, they can be CEOs, they can be monks, they can be priests, they can choose any religion, they can choose any vocation, they can do literally anything and have a blast at it and be a kind person.
Yeah.
And that's what I want for them. I want them to get a good night's sleep and eat their vegetables, and also treat everyone with kindness, is most importantly themselves. And that it comes from doing the somatic stuff. And Sarah Baldwin ended the course saying, every religion talks about the kingdom in heaven or paradise or whatever. And she said, when you are regulated and you're happy and you're like looking out the window at the birds and present, you're in the now and you're feeling good, and then you're going to meet with your buddy and you're going to talk about books. That's paradise. That is heaven. And that is what all the religions are reaching for. And it's meant to be today, in this moment, in this now. And I do believe that. So welcome to church, y'all.
Love it. Amazing. All right. Subscribe, like Six Figure Author Experiment, wherever great podcasts are sold. Leave us a review if you want. Go to hapitalist.com. Go find at least the Millionaire Author Mastermind on Facebook, because it's great. And we'll see you next time.
Yay. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for listening. For more, head on over to sixfigureauthorexperiment.com for archive access, resources, and more. We'll see you next time.